Honourable Member Phil Twyford.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. It's great to be here debating the financial review of the New Zealand Transport Agency because just yesterday we had the Minister, the Honourable Jerry Brownlee, did one of his famous morning report interviews. It was a cracker, actually. And I'm thinking of putting together a collected edition as a campaign fundraiser, a CD of Jerry Brownlee's transport interviews on Morning Report, because they are quite remarkable. That's right, and the EQC interviews. And he said some amazing things, actually. He said when asked about the government's draft policy statement, the GPS on transport, he said, and I quote, "The focus is not on roads." And as an example of kind of deny, divert and obfuscate, it was one of the classics, Mr Brownlee, and I want to compliment you on that. The other cracker quotation from Jerry Brownlee was that until this government came along, no one was much interested in walking and cycling, which was great to see Jerry Brownlee taking responsibility, taking personal credit for the growth in public interest and support in walking and cycling. And sir, I mention the government policy statement because the very interesting thing about this, the government policy statement sets out the government's transport priorities for the next decade. And the reason it's relevant to this debate is that the government's policy statement for the next decade is almost exactly the same as the government's priorities that we've had to put up with for the last nearly 6 years. It's all about roads, roads, roads with this government. And what we see in the government policy statement is a continuation of their spending more than $1 billion every year on their new mega motorway projects. And if you look at the funding there, they've allocated $20 billion to state highways and only a fifth of that, or $4 billion, over the same period to public transport, walking and cycling. A full 87% of the budget projections in the GPS have been allocated to roads. 39% for new state highways, that's predominantly the roads of national party significance, 10% for public transport, and only 1% for walking and cycling. And yet Jerry Brownlee goes on Morning Report and says this is not all about roads. Well, this government is obsessed with building new motorways. They have poured more than $1 billion every year into these projects at the expense of the regions, at the expense of the maintenance of local roads, and at the expense of public transport in our large cities. Well, why does this matter? Why does it matter that the government has this incredibly unbalanced transport policy? Well, the reason it matters, sir, one of the reasons it matters, is that they are structuring into our transport system, into the export supply chain, gross inefficiencies. Because this minister and this government believes that every freight task can be done, no matter what it is, no matter where it's going, it can be most efficiently done by being hauled on huge trucks on brand new gold-plated and mostly duplicate motorway projects. They refuse to build a truly sustainable and efficient freight supply chain in this country by investing in and getting the best out of all the different modes of transport and all the different pieces of the transport system. So what they refuse to do, and what the next Labour-led government will do, is take an intelligent and clinical look at how the ports, how coastal shipping and rail can work together with the roading system to achieve much better connectivity and get our products to market in the most efficient and sustainable way. But this government's not interested in that, and what was, I think, particularly revealing, that the government policy statement on transport cannot, under its own terms of reference, it cannot talk about coastal shipping, about rail and about ports. So critical elements of the transport system are separated out from the government's main policy-making tool and its main statement of priorities, because the transport system basically exists in these silos. And the government likes it that way. Jerry Brownlee likes it that way because he doesn't want to have to consider those other important parts of the transport system. He's not interested in rail, he's not interested in coastal shipping and ports. It's all about roads. And under the system that we've got, under the transport system that this government is perfectly happy with, NZTA is the big road builder, it is the deliverer of our transport policy, and that, Mr Chairman, will change under the next Labor government.
I call the honourable member David Bennett.
Thank you, Mr Chairman. And I'd like to just congratulate the Minister on the great work that he has done in this area over the last 3 years. Been an exceptional Minister. Always welcome in the Waikato, can come there any time, unlike the opposition.